Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream. How is everybody doing? It's been a while since we've had a random live stream on Channel Ram and a true random live stream because this was completely unplanned. And so I figured for 5,000 subscribers, I had a bunch of people say, hey, I wish you could do some live streams, some more live streams. We can interact and stuff like that. So I figured I would just do a live stream that I had completely no plan for, zero plan for today. Just get on. You guys can ask me anything you want. We can just talk about fragrance for an hour or two on a random Saturday night. And I'm still going to do a 5,000 subscriber bash video. If you guys have any ideas, or if you have any sort of recommendations for a 5,000 subscriber live stream, let's talk about it, because I am open. I have no clue what I'm going to do. And my life's been a little bit crazy lately since I am now a bachelor. And so I've been running around, hanging out with friends and all this stuff, fixing up the house. I had a backsplash put on today on the kitchen. Backsplash added. It looks really good, but just my life's been a little bit crazy over the last, couple months. So how is everyone doing? Kevin, it's good to see you from Florida. Hope you're staying cool, brother. The end of the really hot days here. Still almost 100 today here in Texas. It's crazy. My scent of the day is actually something I've only given one full wear before. This is only the second full time I've given this a wear as my scent of the day. If you know this bottle, you know this is basically an iconic fragrance from the house of Parfums Gray, and this is called Cabochard. And Cabochard is actually a Bernard Shaw creation. It's like a dry green sort of aromatic chypres. A little bit like Aramis. If you know the original Aramis for Men, it'll sort of in that ballpark, but this is so good. I mean, his perfumes are, every single one he's made is right up my alley. I think he's one of the most underrated perfumers. He deserves to be right there towards the top. I'm going to do full reviews of all of his stuff, including Cabochard, but this is actually a women's fragrance marketed towards women. It originally came out, I believe in the late 50s, 1959, if I'm not mistaken. So this came out first. Then Aramis for Men came out 5 or 6 years later, I believe. So this was like I almost think of this as like the inspiration. I've never smelled the Pure Parfum. I'd love to smell the Pure Parfum one day. This is actually one of the older, you probably won't be able to see that, but one of the older eau de toilette. Sorry, it's dark, it's late. And so my lighting in here is not the best. So if I'm a little bright or if I look a little blue, I do apologize. Let's see what you guys are saying. Nick, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Thank you. Who is that? Who's that you're with in that picture? I can't see. He looks important, though. Thank you for the well wishes. I actually reviewed one of your decants, I believe, that you sent me. So recently, Fumitis, I really enjoyed that one. Perfume Aroma. I've got some more Nick decants floating around that I need to review. We have Fortin Manley, Magnificent Suleiman still to come. And we have Digit and Zach Rising Cologne still to come. So we have some more decants that you've sent me that are in the batter's box that will be given an early impression video very soon. So thank you for keeping me well stocked, brother. Really appreciate that. Headless Sense. It's good to see you. Love your avatar, by the way. Since I was born in Jordan, I am partial to the Middle Eastern swag, I must say. It's good stuff. Good to see you. Micah, love your avatar too, man. The Les Abstraits fragrances. I cannot wait for round 2 to see what Eugene and Antoine are going to do the second time around. The first time was, I think, as close to perfection as you could get. I still need to get a bottle of Belle Homme one of these days, once I'm allowed to buy perfume again. Panda, what's going on? What's up? Thank you for the congrats and well wishes. I appreciate that. Honestly, 5K came a lot faster than I thought. And I assume now that the channel is growing, we're going to get probably more subscribers faster, but we're also going to get maybe some we're going to get some unwanted attention, let's say, some unwanted attention. I talked about this the other day at the end of my video, but I've been getting a lot of comments, and usually I don't delete comments and stuff, but when it gets to like some guy called me like a pedophile for not liking Oud for Greatness, I just delete that shit. Like, I'm not going to leave that stuff on there. I know when I started the channel, I was like, I'm never going to delete any comments ever. Let them stay up there. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to. I'm not going to leave that stuff up there. Like some of it's just ridiculous. And I think 99% of people are like us and they just love perfume. And then there's like that 1% or maybe even 0.1% that their job is just to, they're just hyenas. They just want to tear everything down. They see someone having any success and their job is just to tear them down. And so, yeah, I mean, if they want to disagree with me, that's fine. But when it comes to the name calling, I'm just going to delete that shit. Antonio, thank you for the super chat. I think I'm supposed to say Antonio Hobson, $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Hello, Professor. So glad to see you in good spirits. Thanks for all you do. Chat. Thank you, my friend. I am in good spirits. I'm in fantastic spirits, actually. My life has improved drastically over the last couple months. So the Ram is a much happier person as far as being away from the perfume channel. I've, of course, always loved my perfume related stuff. That's never going to change. I wish I got to spend some more time with my daughter since that's a little limited now. But other than that, like my life as it is, awesome. Having the time of my life. Absolutely no complaints. Where were we? What's up, Big Ram? What's happening? Thanks for being here on a random Saturday night. You guys should be out having a good time. I'm actually going to go. I'm saving I got a cigar, an end of the night cigar saved for after this is over. Congrats on the 5K. Thank you, Micah. Scent of the day for me is Dior Homme Silver Stem. I got to review that still. I have to review that. If there's any reviews, I would say that you guys want to prioritize, let me know. I'm still working on my Hall of Fame, vintage Hall of Fame videos. So like I want to review things like Shalimar, Abbey Rouge, Heritage from Guerlain, the all-time great fragrances that deserve full reviews. I hinted at this whenever we talked about I did a perfumer's portfolio video on Jean Martel, and that was actually really tough because he only has 2 fragrances, but damn it, he deserves his own perfumer's portfolio video. And of course, I ranked it 1 and 2, which you would think there's only 2 fragrances. That has to be easy. It wasn't actually, because there's Paco Rabanne Pour Homme and it was Dior's Jules, my favorite Dior of all time. And so how do you rank these 2? Like, I mean, Jules ended up winning, but Paco Rabanne Pour Homme is a very special fragrance to me because it was my father's signature scent and still is. Actually, it's been his signature scent for as long as I've been alive. So, but I'm gonna review things like my all-time favorites. But it's very hard because part of me, I want to review these because there's not enough reviews. People are now so interested in doing things like the new Parfum de Marly Altair fragrance. Like, I don't really give a shit about that. Like, if it falls in my lap, I'll talk about it. But I would much rather focus on stuff like this. The problem is, if I reviewed Altair, I can just, and it's shit. I can just make fun of it. And I don't know if it's shit. I've never smelled it, but I'm just using that as an example. Like, and it is shit. I can just get on there and bash it and move on and not use many brain cells. But with this, like, I really feel like I have to sort of, like, it deserves to be done justice. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm reviewing one of the greatest fragrances of all time. It's almost like hollowed ground. I don't want to put out a half-assed or unfinished review. So it is a little bit of pressure to make sure that when I'm doing things like this, the all-time greats, that I do it right. That's the only thing. Roja's Apex. I actually did review that on the channel, Mark, and I actually liked it. It's a lot like, to me, it was a lot like Halston Z14. And as much as I really enjoyed Apex, I think I would rather just wear Z14. Or even if you guys have any experience with this, Justin actually turned me on to this one. Justin the Czar, he turned me on to Vendetta by Valentino. This is Vendetta Pour Homme, excuse me, because there's a Pour Femme and a Pour Homme. But these two have very much Roja Apex vibes, if you will, and also maybe Tom Ford's Italian Cypress, which I reviewed recently on the channel as well. So sorry about the camera. It's sort of all over the place with the lighting today. I do need to get myself a better camera. I ordered Givenchy 3 a couple days ago. Ah, nice. What did you make of it? What did you make of Givenchy 3? Did you get the vintage? Did you get the vintage one? Because they discontinued the original 1970 bottle and they repackaged it. And I don't know what the reformulation was like, but I know that this, and also to me, to my nose, and I talked a little bit about this recently, but the original YSLY for women from 1964. This is the Parfum de Toilette. These two, I think this really inspired this, and I also think that this really inspired like the whole generation of green chypres from the 1970s. Like, for example, Chanel number 19, which my bottle's under lock and key somewhere else. And, you know, even something like this, Estee Lauder's Private Collection, which I know Frederick Malle was pretty vocal about this being one of the things that when him and Anne Filippo made Synthetic Jungle, these green 70s chypres are sort of what they looked at. Stuff like Givenchy 3, Estee Lauder Private Collection, and then even like YSLY. Those are the kind of fragrances that they, you know, used as a reference when they were creating Synthetic Jungle. And they're really, really good. And I actually really like Synthetic Jungle. I have a review on the channel if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that one. Have you smelled any Javoys? Yes, I actually have a whole bunch of Javoys. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have, here, I'll take them out. They're just a pain to get out because they're over here. Oh. So my favorite Javoy is probably this one. Les Jeux Sans Fates. I think this is the most interesting Javoy to me. But I think Javoy as a house is sort of one of those houses that you get. I think you get a lot for your money with the House of Javoy. Like, everything is premium quality. The packaging, the bottles, the caps, the juice. I mean, but you can find bottles, like I was picking these up at discounts or whatever, $150. I got a couple for close to that $100 mark. Some of them you got to pay $170, $180, but even that, I mean, this is the kind of juice that you would expect to find in like a Roja bottle for triple the price or something, to me. So I think Javoy is one of those niche houses that they offer a lot, but you don't have to pay, you know, top dollar for. So I will review these one of these days, but I have 5. So I have Les Jeux Sans Fates, which is, I think, my favorite. And then Private Label, which is probably one of my favorite Cécile Zarokian fragrances. If you know Cécile Zarokian's DNA and the way she likes to make fragrances, this one might throw you off a little bit because it's a little different from things that she's made, like Epic Woman and stuff like that. You know, this kind of goes in a little different direction. This is very dark and smoky, and there's a lot of papyrus in here and a little bit of vetiver. But it's a very masculine, hardcore, almost like work scent, you know. And La Enfant Teddy Bal is maybe one of the most interesting Javoys because it is discontinued. And La Enfant Teddy Bal basically basically means the terrible child, and it is completely discontinued. Like I said, you can't buy this one anymore, unfortunately, but it reminds me a lot of if you've ever smelled Serge Lutens' Féminité du Bois. So imagine Féminité du Bois so the terrible child note that they're referencing is cumin. And so cumin is supposed to be like this terrible child running around the fragrance, like messing everything up, right? But I don't think it does at all. And what they've done is with that cumin note. So it almost feels like if you've ever thought that Féminine du Bois smells a little bit like thin and light in this version. So even though this is a vintage bottle, it's not the original bottle. The original Féminine du Bois came in like a bottle that, if you've seen Rich Mitch's channel, he shows it a lot. It's it almost, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like a like maybe somebody with a gut or something. But it was a Shiseido bottle, and apparently it's a much thicker, denser version of Féminine du Bois. And this one, I really like Féminine du Bois, but I hear that it's a little thinner and lighter, so this kind of solves that problem. It makes it, this is actually much thicker and heavier, more cumin, and the sandalwood note is brilliant in this. One of the best, I think, synthetic sandalwood notes I've smelled. It's absolutely amazing, milky, creamy, just fantastic fragrance. It's not for everybody, but if you like that Féminine du Bois DNA, L'Enfant Teddy Bal is one to check out. And then Incident Diplomatique is very interesting because it's a vetiver fragrance. The story behind this one is that they wore this to like the airport or something when they were testing it, and some diplomats smelled it on them in the elevator and caused like a diplomatic incident, is sort of where the name came from. And then finally there's Psychedelic, which is probably one of my favorite patchouli fragrances. It's the reason why I don't own like Dior's patchouli or Perfume Aromas patchouli or stuff like that. This is sort of my chocolatey, just thick, old school patchouli, and it's really good. It is thick and heavy, and you have to be a patchouli lover to love it. But I absolutely love patchouli, and so Psychedelic is sort of one of my go-to just out and out patchouli fragrances. So Incident Diplomatique is maybe my, I would say it's maybe my least favorite Javoy. Not that it's a bad fragrance. It has a couple different types of vetivers in it. It came out in 2017. It's got Haitian vetiver and Java vetiver, and then it has patchouli and Australian sandalwood in the base. It's not that it's a bad fragrance. It's just when I think about my favorite Javoys, I would probably put that closer to the bottom, but I still really enjoy wearing it. I like the way that the vetiver is sort of dry and it gives off a little bit of a smoky, earthy aspect to the vetiver as well. There's some spicy nutmeg, which sort of keeps everything. I've often said nutmeg sort of works as like a referee. It keeps everything in this nice little box, if you will. And so it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I'll review all of them one of these days, but I like some of the other Javoys better. Ah, that's Alberto Mordias. Yes, it is. It is the old man wearing his Gucci shirt, Gucci suit with bees all over it. He must get a ton of free Gucci shit, huh? Congrats, bro. Well deserved. Thanks, Germs. Good to see you, man. Finally caught a live and an important one, wearing Cicatrices by Laurent Mazon tonight. Licorice, spice, and slightly salty, sweaty myrrh. Interesting. Well, welcome. I have never smelled that one. The only LM fragrance I have is hard leather, which is not an easy wear. And it's actually not my favorite version of a hard leather note, I'll tell you that. But that's sort of a tough one to wear. Congrats on the 5K. Thanks, TZ. Thanks for being here, man. It's 3 a.m. in the UK, but I'm up for UFC. Well done. Thanks, man. Blame me for the trolls. I was talking shit to a troll actually recently, and it's funny because he was giving me a hard time about a video I posted like 6 months ago. And it's weird because he was like, I don't know if you remember, but I did a Francesca Bianchi review on, I can't remember if it was Black Knight or maybe one of the other ones, but someone sent me a bunch of Francesca Bianchi samples and I did a couple videos on them. And then this was maybe like the third video. and the vial broke. So it fell, it hit, like these sliding doors have this little, you know, rail that they travel on, and it hit the metal rail and broke. But I was able to salvage some of it before it all spilled out. So I had like a little bit of juice in the bottom, and I poured the juice on my wrist and did a quick little early impression video before it was all gone. And I took a video of the broken vial, and he basically was like, you do one video off of a broken vial and you think you know the whole damn Francesca Bianchi line. And he posts it on Ode to Jerks, and he's like, this guy smells one Francesca Bianchi and he thinks he knows them all. And I was like, dude, literally in the video, I'm like, I have other videos in there. And in fact, if you even took the time to do any research on the channel, you would have known that there's a Francesca Bianchi playlist with the other videos I've done. Like, you look like a fool and an ass right now. And I ended up deleting his comments. I wish I'd have left him up there, but then he started talking shit to me on another video, and I was like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to listen to that shit. But it was just like, dude, how pathetic. And then he told me he's like 54 years old. Like, and you took the time to go to Ode to Jerks and post a 6-month-old video to talk shit to me about something you were way wrong about? Some people, man, some people have lived very lonely lives. People are crazy. Absolutely, it's crazy. Some people are absolutely just lonely, crazy, sad. It's true. Yeah, I just let it roll off my back. I don't really care. I actually told him, I was like, dude, go to Ode to Jerks and post it, because he threatened me with it. He was like, I'm going to put this on Ode to Jerks. And I was like, go ahead. Go ahead, do it. I've been on Ode to Jerks a bunch. Usually it's like jerk approved or whatever. Not that I care, but yeah, they are. They're pointless. Thanks, man. Manuel, good to see you, man. Amigo Ram, Alain Delon classic. Ah, a true classic. It is. That is a true classic. I'm a big fan of Alain Delon classic. Yes, my favorite types. My favorite type of fragrance right here. And actually, the one that says classic down here on the bottom is really good. So this is the original one. Anuj found me this tester, actually. This is for, like, so blind people can see it's a tester. Demonstration, not for sale. But the newer version that actually says classic on the bottom is really good as well. Really like that fragrance. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. No, you're 100% right. 100%. A live stream. That's right. It's been a while, hasn't it? There's going to be more live streams. I promise. There will be more live streams. Ah, Bellamy Vetiver. He absolutely did. I think it's one of the greatest flankers of all time. I can't grab it and show you guys because it's under lock and key. But Bellamy Vetiver is, I think, one of the greatest flankers ever made. If it's true that that's potentially discontinued, that's really sad. If Hermes is discontinuing that Bellamy Vetiver Equipage Geranium line, that's really sad. I have never smelled Modern Jewels, but from hearing Rich Mitch talk about it, he said the Modern is not as good. That they basically, to my nose with Jewel, the big thing is the wormwood in the top, like the Artemisia and wormwood and sage notes in the top are brilliant. One of the best. And I think when Demachy reformulated this in 2016, I think he used a lot more galbanum. There may be some galbanum in here, but I think that it's much more toned down. I think with the reformulation, they amped the galbanum up a lot from what Rich Mitch was saying. And it just kind of smells like a green fragrance without any of the dirty castoreum, civet sort of undertones. So I would say if you can find a vintage, go for the vintage. But I've never smelled the Modern myself, so I'm just going off of what I hear from somebody that I trust. So you'll have to take that with a grain of salt there, Micah. Scent of the night, Rouge Tabac Vert. Rouge Tabac Vert. I gotta look this up. Rouge Tabac Vert. Huh. Why is that not ringing a bell? Tabac Vert. Rogue Tabac Vert. Sorry. Apologies. It's been a while. It's It's been a while since I've done a live stream. My brain hasn't had to keep up with these things this quick lately. Yes, Rogue Tabac. I'm like, Rouge. I guess I should learn to read. Yeah, Tabac Vert's fantastic. It's so like green. And if you like a green leafy tobacco, that's one of the greatest. And in fact, some people say, do I have it here? No, it's also under lock and key. Some people say that that smells a lot like Creed's vintage Tabarome, the one that only came in the big flacons that now sell for like 10 grand on the internet. They've been discontinued forever. If you can find those two in vintage, Micah, I would say go for it. These are two. That's my favorite Hermes and that's my favorite Dior. If you can knock these out in vintage, and I actually have a backup coming. Natalia is gifting me a bottle, but it's working its way through Rich Mitch to me. And we have a courier hopefully coming next month in October. And by the end of October, it should be here in my hands in a perfect world. And so, you know, but this is definitely backup bottle worthy. If you can find these older bottles, even if you have to go for a splash and just decant it like I do, I would go for it. I would go for it. Look at how they used to do the writing on the bottom of the old bottles with the white. It's almost like a white chalk, like a white marker. Parfums Christian Dior, crazy. I love that fragrance. And you know, this gets completely overshadowed by, as far as like Dior designers go, not the privé, not the private line, but it completely gets overshadowed by Fahrenheit, because this came out, what, 7 years later, 7 or 8 years later, and this gets overshadowed big time by Fahrenheit. And Fahrenheit's amazing, and you know, Fahrenheit is one of the greatest designers of all time. But for my taste, this takes the cake. This is the greatest Christian Dior masculine designer fragrance of all time, in my opinion. Thank you, Taffy. It's good to see you here. Bois Studio. Ah, yes, Bois Studio. That's probably one of my favorite from that line. Do I have it here? Yes, I do. Yeah, Bois Studio. I think this is probably my favorite from the line. I also think it's a little bit different than Sange du Bois d'Ette, just a bit. It's so close that I think you can just probably go buy the new one, the Bois Studio. But yeah, I've got a bottle of Sange as well. Maybe I'll do a comparison video one day. But Bois Studio is really, really good. Leathery, Middle Eastern style fragrance from Guerlain. Thierry Vassar really did a good job with this one. One of the best, what do they call this? Absolutes to Orient or something? Is it discontinued? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Yes, absolutely. 100% Bellamy is going to have a Hall of Fame video. There's no doubt about it. Ah, nice. The vintage one. It's always, in my experience, almost always better to go for the vintage. Vetiver, yes, you left a comment saying that you were still getting to know that. Have you come around to Vetiver? Have you come around to it? You helped me discover Burberry's for Men and Cardin Centaur Queer Blanc. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, Smiley Town SF. I guess I should be saying $9.99 super chat. I need a super chat song. Just kidding. But no, I do appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I do run this channel as a hobby. And so it's the good thing about running it as a hobby is I don't have to hit like a number to pay my bills. So, you know, every little bit in the tip jar is very much appreciated, but don't feel like you ever have to. So far, it reminds me of a soapy, brighter, less bitter number 19. Yes, but have you worn it into the dry down? Have you got to the dry down? Because at least in my bottle, there's a little something dirty in there. I think it's a little dirtier than number 19 underneath, because there is a pretty big castoreum note in here, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember correctly. This is a tester, so the notes are on the back. Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says lily of the valley, jasmine, and oak moss. But I think there's a castoreum note in here that I really enjoy. In the late dry down, I think it comes out even more. My signature scent in high school, yes. You know what? I love private collection. Like some of these green chypres from the 70s. Oh my God, they are so good. The modern green fragrances, many of them can't hold a candle to what they were doing in the 70s with green fragrances, especially for women. Even these three that I'm showing right here, YSLY, Givenchy 3, and Estee Lauder's private collection. And then if you threw number 19 in there, like those 4 women fragrances, I don't know if you can improve on that. Like Synthetic Jungle was really good. I think that is a Frederic Malle that is maligned much more than it should be. Like I think if you look at it from the lens of what Frederic Malle and Anne Filippo were trying to accomplish, they hit it out of the park. But green fragrances don't get the most, they don't get the most love from the community. Now, I will tell you, there are some green modern fragrances that are really quite good. Like, for example, if you've ever smelled this is Beach Hut Man. This is a fantastic green fragrance. It's so green. There's like this minty ivy galbanum. I think you can see it's like a beach hut right there on the front. And I think the beach hut like threw people off with this one because they were expecting like a beach hut in the sand, but it's really like a beach hut in the Vietnamese jungle with, like vines and ivy and, I would say like tropical, like trees, just sort of overgrowth. Like a beach hut that was built 50 years ago, 70 years ago, and the forest is like sort of taking it over. And there's like roots and vines going through the beach hut. That's more what it smells like, but it's actually a really good green fragrance. But outside of like little one-offs like this, there's not really very many green fragrances that excite me anymore. I'd rather just go back and wear the old stuff. Good morning from Taipei. Congrats. Thank you, Andrew. It's good to see you. How's Taipei? I think they even looked at Vetiver. Yes, and that's one I've never smelled, believe it or not, in any form. The modern one that I think Khalees Becker did like a version of it, or the OG. I can't remember who did the original Vetiver. Was it Jean Carles? Yeah, I'm still hooked on Vetiver at the moment. So if you're hooked on Vetiver, I'll tell you one I've been really enjoying that I'm going to do a review on very soon because I only have a limited amount of juice, and you can see how much I've worn this already. And I just got this a couple months ago. This was sent to me by Jeff, and Jeff sent me some full bottles. There's a whole unboxing video he sent me. He sent me a bunch of stuff. He sent me the Arso. That was very kind of him. He sent me the Arso by Parfum Aroma. And he sent me this little bad boy, which I'm going to do a video on sooner or later. This is Marc Antoine's Bawa B683 Extrait. I actually think this is better than Ganymede. I think I like this a little bit more. I could see why some people don't like this. And it is very like Middle Eastern style oudi, but in a French house type way. But it's good. I actually enjoy it from what I've worn it so far. But he sent me this too. And I've been really enamored with this. This is Christian Dior's Vetiver. You probably won't be able to see. But it's Christian Dior's Vetiver. And, some people, when they smell this, they say, oh, it's just a vetiver fragrance. And I could see that because vetiver is one of those notes. I've said it before, but once you sort of turn the dial up on vetiver enough, it sort of takes everything over. Like it becomes just vetiver fragrance. And it all depends on what they surround it with. You know, like Frederic Mall's Vetiver Extraordinaire, it becomes like peppery and spicy. And Guerlain's Vetiver, they surrounded it with tobacco. And, you know, Roja's Vetiver reminds a lot of people of Tom Ford's Gray Vetiver. And you know, all these different types of Vetiver, Encre Noir with the inkiness and all that. Well, Christian Dior's Vetiver, they actually surrounded it with the note of coffee. And what's interesting about Christian Dior's Vetiver is you don't sort of get this, it's not like you get this cafe in your face coffee aroma, but the coffee just sort of works with the Haitian Vetiver to make it a little bit more robust. And, you know, it is a pretty fresh green vetiver. And that Sicilian, there's like a Sicilian grapefruit note or something in the top that I think is just really, for the Texas heat, I've been where you see it. I've worn this like 3 or 4 times already. And like I'm kind of addicted to it. I really like this, really, really like it. I don't think I would spend the kind of money Dior wants on a bottle, but I'm going to review this. So if you're into vetiver and you don't have Christian Dior's vetiver, that may be one to look into. Thanks, Micah. Appreciate that, man. Eugene, hugs. Thanks, brother. Good to see you, man. It's good to see you, bro. Hope you're doing well. I'm loving your recent reviews that you've been doing from the forest. That's good stuff. Loving your reviews, man. I was watching one of your old videos and you had CH Men Privé. Is that a good one? I love boozy fragrances. Yes, it is, but it's sort of designer level. Good, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But if you like boozy fragrances, yeah, put this on the list. It's the bottle kind of looks like a flask, right? But understand you're getting a designer. Like you're not gonna don't expect niche quality in something like the Carolina Herrera. You're definitely getting a designer. And so as long as you're okay with that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's probably one of the better designer fragrances from when did that come out? Carolina Herrera Privé, 2015. That's right. So some people say this has been reformulated. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I also don't know how to really tell. This is Antonio Puig, Barcelona. Cardamom, grapefruit, lavender, sage, red thyme, whiskey, leather, benzoin, and tonka bean. The original CH Men. So CH Men Privé is basically a flanker of the original CH Men. And the original CH Men had the thing right here. This is how it originally came out, like this. They then took this. They got rid of this and they like put it down here. So now if you try to buy CH Men, that's the newer one. And some people say that it's been reformulated, that this is the one you want. And smelling this, so Anuj actually found me this partial because I was like, hey man, can you find me one? And he's like, I got one here, you can have it. And so getting this and smelling it, I'm like, I can't believe that this would be reformulated. There's like no reason to reformulate this. It's like a sweet, grassy, leathery scent with some violet. There's just, I can't imagine there for any reason to reformulate this. But sort of the etching, like this is like a leather thing that's like stitched into the, you know, you can see the stitching on the leather and it's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, this is a flanker of this. So if you smelled this and you sort of know that sweetness that I'm talking about, it's a very sweet designer leather, which is not my taste anymore. Like, I guess if I was going to like a college bar or something, maybe you'd throw something like this on, but otherwise it's hard for me to want to wear stuff because I don't want to wear this. I want to wear Bellamy and Antaeus and all that stuff. But for reference, I do have this and I will review these. So I'll wear them and review them. But if you do like boozy fragrances, yes, I would say go for this. Or if you do want maybe a little higher end boozy fragrance, go for Roja's Creation E for men, pour homme, or Enigma, if you will, if you're outside of the United States. In the United States, it's Creation E because they apparently lost the copyright there's already a Creation E or something, or Enigma, so they couldn't use that in the United States. Now this is also sweet, but it smells much more high class, much more upper crust than this. This smells more juvenile. The thing about the sweetness is, and the way that the sweetness is done, it just feels very juvenile to me personally. I think sweet fragrances come across to my nose now as it's matured, very juvenile to me, childish in a sense. And even though this is sweet, it just feels like it's done just a little better in my opinion. So I do really like this, And this is cognac instead of whiskey. So I know we're not comparing apples to apples, but it is really good. And that's on my to review list as well. Actually, looking at, so this table, every single fragrance that I've pulled out so far, I have not reviewed yet. So I haven't reviewed Cabochard, Paco Rabanne Pour Homme, Jules, Vendetta Pour Homme, Z14, YSLY from 1964, Givenchy 3 from 1970, Estee Lauder Private Collection, Feminine Dubois, LM Hard Leather. This one, Alain Delon Classic, I don't have a review on, but I have a comparison video. I actually have a comparison video between the Classic, which is under lock and key, and the OG. So I guess that's kind of like a review. Fahrenheit, this will definitely have a Hall of Fame review one day. Definitely. Bois Mysterio, Beach Hut Man, Dior's Vetiver, CH Men Privé, Arso, B683 X-Ray, which is still just a weird name. I think Nishane did something similar with a weird number letter combination. And then, of course, Roja's Enigma. I haven't reviewed any of these. So just to give you an idea of like the scope of what I want to review everything at some point. And there's only so many days in the year, and there's only so many reviews you can do, because you kind of have to wear a fragrance. Like today I'm wearing Cabochard. You can only wear so many fragrances a day. So I have a lot of content to put out, let's put it that way. And then of course the samples and everything people send me. So I am stocked on content. Yeah, buddies. What's up, Vintage Bully? Scent of the Night Bogart one-man show, Oud edition. Oud edition. So that is, speaking of Dior's, if you like, oh no, I don't have it here. I think it's under lock and key. Oh no, I do. One Man Show Oud edition. So if you like leather oud, or some of those more expensive type of oud fragrances that the French houses put out, but you don't want to give Dior like $300 or $400 for leather oud, just get this, $18. One Man Show Oud edition. It does start off a little bit rougher, but Thomas hit the nail on the head with this. He said, if you like that oud accord, this fragrance doesn't fuck around. It just basically goes, oh, okay, you want the oud accord, and just presents it to you. Just here you go. No fluff, no sort of ruffled edges and magic act in the top. It just goes, oh, you want oud? Here you go. Here's your fake oud accord, and just presents it to you right from the get-go. And it is a little plasticky, maybe a little harsh in the beginning, but I actually like this. For $18, I mean, you can't really go wrong if you like that oud accord. Late to the celebrations, Arbaz. Thanks for being here, brother. Good to see you. It is a completely out of the blue. Like, I started at 9 and I put it up at like 8:36 that I was going to do this. So I can't believe we almost have 50 people watching on a Saturday night. Thanks for being here, everybody. Just got the Etta B holder. Any opinions? It's okay. It's not my favorite, Serge. I'll tell you that. But I am collecting as many vintage Serge as I can. It smells like a Christmas cake to me. It's a little sweet too. It's also one of the sweeter Serge fragrances. But in the cold, it's beautiful. Etta B is beautiful. Good evening, all. Ajay, welcome. Incident Diplomatique is my favorite. Oh, really? P. Jefferson. Oud 777. I actually stumbled across that fragrance on a blind sniff. Somebody, one of my perfume god people, put that in a blind sniff fragrance. That I did. You'd have a hard time finding it. I mean, not really. I bet you if you searched for Stefan Humbert Lucas Oud 777, because I put the names in the description, I bet you'd be able to find it. But if you go to the live blind sniff that I did with that fragrance, I really like that fragrance. And I haven't smelled many Stefan Humbert Lucas fragrances, but that one particularly smelled very ambery. There was some oud in the base, but I got a lot of ambers and resins, and I really like that fragrance. It almost reminded me of, oh God, what's that? Rania J has an amber fragrance. I can't think of everything. I'm getting too old. Rania J, Ambre Loop. It reminded me a little bit of Ambre Loop, with oud, with like some extra oud in there, but I really liked it. So I'd like to sniff more Stefan Humbert Lucas. There's too much. Like, there's literally too much perfume. I think even if it was like me and a helper or two helpers, and all we did was sniff fragrances every day and make notes, and you couldn't keep up. There's just so much stuff out there. So many houses. Like Rich Mitch has been getting into Maitrier Parfumé Agantier lately. And it's a house that I have smelled like one or two fragrances from, and that's it. And they have like 30 fragrances or something, you know. And it's like for every time you think, oh, I'm making some headway. Okay, I'm talking about some fragrances I've never smelled before. I'm smelling new stuff. There's more of that. It's like an avalanche of perfume. It just abounds. There's so much out there. And that's why everyone's collection is different. Everyone's journey is different, because you know, if you buy 10 fragrances and I buy 10 fragrances, and, you know, somebody else buys 10 fragrances, even if we all say we kind of like the same things, those 10 fragrances will all be different. Maybe I'll buy like the Feel Oud release, which I have a video on. Maybe I'll buy, you know, and you'll buy something. You won't buy the Feel Oud. You'll buy some new Amouage, or, you know, and so everyone's collection just sort of goes their own way. That's what's cool about this this little hobby. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do for 5K. So if you guys have any requests, do let me know. A lot of people have been asking for like a ranked artisanal fragrance list. Like, so for example, Aries Ladores and Ensars and Bortnikovs, and rank them like my favorites. That is a very tall task. I don't know if I can do that, because honestly, I feel like, especially once I get to some of those Aries fragrances, like the ones I really, really love, like Russian Oud, and, you know, those like heavy hitters, Santal Galore. And how do you rank that? How do you rank Ottoman Empire versus EO1? Like, I feel like no matter how I rank that video, something's getting snubbed. Like, everything can't be at the top. You know what I mean? So that is a very tall task, and I honestly don't know if I'm up to the task of doing it. Yes, 5K subs. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hermes Bellamy Vetiver, you're the second one. Actually, someone else wore that as the scent of the day. It is a little bit of a milestone. I like celebrating milestones, even though it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. For me, it doesn't matter. Like, I would do my videos, and I said this at the beginning. I would do my videos if one person watched them. If even one person watched, I would do them. If no one watched, I don't think I would do it for nobody. But if one person watched, I would do it. Just because the whole point for me was sort of just to share my passion and love of perfumery. And if I'm sharing it with someone that is also passionate as me, then I feel like it's worth it, you know? Bought the new version of Beach Heaven, is completely different, which was the original. That opened my eyes to the fact all brands do this. Yeah, Amouage is going through it. They're going through it, man. They really are. They're going through it. Somebody left me a comment pissed, and they deserve to be pissed. They said the fish man was on a live stream recently. That's Reno Salman. And by the way, he gave me $2 on my Amouage Blue. What was it? Blue Oud? Is that the name of the new one? Yeah, he went on there and gave me a $2 super sticker, which I thought was he like fucking with me? Like, here's your $2, son. Thanks for being mean to my fragrance, kind of thing. Because I was not very nice to that fragrance. But he was on like a live stream recently, somebody said, and said Amouage is not going to be an artsy fartsy house. That's what he said. It's not going to be an artsy fartsy house. Which, what the fuck is that? If that's, I haven't seen that. I haven't actually seen the clip of him saying that, but someone left me a comment saying that he said it. So thank you, Kevin. Thanks, man. Yeah, if this is like, you know, because this is one of the I believe this is one of the made in UK bottles, which when the Fishman took over, he closed down that UK plant that Amouage had, and now everything is made in Oman. And I think they did that so they can sort of keep a tighter control on the distribution network, you know, so less gets to discounters unless they want them to get to discounters. They're kind of sort of trying to do the Chanel things, but then I still see, like, you don't find Chanel at fragrancebuy.ca or stuff. Now I still see Amouages, even the newer ones. Like, someone was telling me Silver Oud, which is a $500 fragrance, is at discounters for like $250 now. And so if that's the case, I don't really understand what the whole point of aggregating everything back to Oman was. So Giza Sean was on a podcast called Perfume Room, and it was interesting. Listen, he almost sounded like you criticizing the modern. How could you not? I mean, honestly, if you love perfume, how could you not? The modern perfume industry is a fucking joke. They should be ashamed of themselves. And you know what? Pierre Bourdon said this. There's a chat that Frederick Malle has up on his YouTube channel. Frederick Malle has like a YouTube channel, and he hardly posts anything but like chats with perfumers about the fragrances they made. But one of the videos that they have up is a round table discussion with Frederick Malle, Jean-Claude Elena, Pierre Bourdon, and Filippo, Maurice Roussel, right? Like the big hitters from the Frederick Malle lineup, right? And one of the things that they said on there was they were asking, like, how do you get the perfume industry back to how it was in the, sorry, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. How do you get the perfume industry back to where it was like in the 70s and 80s when houses like YSL could put out Koros, right? And of course, Pierre Bourdon, who created Koros, was there. And he was like, well, what you have to do is you have to throw out all of the financiers. And what he meant by that was all of the companies like LVMH and all right, hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. Apologies. So, so yes, he basically was like, you have to wrestle control back from the finance companies that own the perfume companies, because the companies that are focused on the finances, they don't care about the artistic side of perfume. They don't want a Koros to ever be made again. In fact, they would prefer if it never happened because it's a risk for them. What's less of a risk is getting a focus group and saying, this is what we think will sell to the vast majority of people. And whether it falls into the boring side of things, they don't care. I mean, for them, it's money, right? So they're looking at it as the bottom line. If we put this product out, here's how many bottles we're basically promised to sell, because the focus group says it, right? There's no risk in that. releasing a Koros is a risk. And, you know, companies that are focused on money are not going to do that. Companies that are focused on the love of perfumery, like, and that's, I think, why a lot of these small artisanal niche houses, like, for example, Papillon. Papillon is a great example of that. Go watch my interview with Liz Moores. Fantastic perfumer, brilliant mind. She has created some amazing, and I'm going to review them actually. And actually, one of them is right here because I've been wearing it because I'm going to do a full review on it. Anubis, masterpiece. I think this is a masterpiece of perfumery. Oh, so fucking good. And this and Salome are masterpieces. But this is not something that I don't think you could release confidently in a house like Guerlain today. An LVMH owned Guerlain, right? Maybe Guerlain, Jean-Paul Guerlain days, or, you know, when it was still in the Guerlain family, you could. But now with LVMH, they don't want to put stuff like this out. It's not in their best interest to do that kind of thing. So that's the problem. That's the real issue. And I don't think it's going to change. I just don't see it changing. But the good news is for perfume heads, there are stuff like this. There are still opportunities to buy vintages. You know, I was talking very recently. I actually reviewed this recently. One of my Hall of Fame videos, if you haven't caught it, was Balenciaga Pour Homme. And so there's still stuff like this floating around. I mean, you can still appreciate what was 30, 40, 50 years ago. And so, you know, that's really, if you're a true frag head, I think those are your options, because I think if you go buy every single new Initio and Parfum de Marly and the new Guerlains and the new, you know, like that new Guerlain Oud Cole, I reviewed it. It came out like a year ago. One of the absolute worst fragrances I've ever smelled in my life. And they're selling that shit for $300 or $400. It's an absolute travesty. And so, you know, those are your options. I think if you love fragrance as an art form, go buy the old Guerlains, go buy L'Air Bleu and Mitsuko and Shalimar and Abbey Rouge and Heritage and all that stuff. Buy the vintages like Balenciaga Pour Homme, like Jules, like I mentioned, Dunhill Blend 30, which I'm going to do a full review on because this is one of the greatest fragrances of all time. Definitely getting a vintage Hall of Fame review. You know, those are the kind of things that you have to go to. If you love masculine perfumery, if you love the feminine stuff, there's Abenita, there's Roche Femme, there's, you know, all of these vintage women's fragrances from the old times that you can check out. I've been playing with this actually recently, and it's fantastic. Soir de Paris, An Evening in Paris by Bourgeois. This was actually perfumed by Ernst Beau. And Ernst Beau, who made Chanel No. 5, made this, and it is unbelievably good. And this is for women, and I've been loving wearing this stuff. I've been wearing it to bed. I wear a lot of my feminine fragrances like this to bed. It's so good. Very, very interesting composition. But that's where I think the fragrance lover has to go. Get the vintage opium. And, you know, and if you're going to go niche, there are many mainstream houses that are shrouded in a niche packaging. So Parfum de Marly and Initio come to mind. They smell like designers, but they're priced like niche, right? Those are the houses you want to avoid if you are like a true frag head, in my personal opinion. And they're not the only ones. They're just the ones that come to mind right away. And Amouage, when the guy who runs it now says, we don't want to be artsy fartsy, that's what he's getting at. He's saying we want to become more mainstream. We don't want to release stuff like this. Like, if you are a lover of crazy perfumery, like I am, like if you like stuff that's out there and different, stuff like this, Mitzman, with its ash note, like literal ash, like volcanic ash, and chrysanthemum in the top, and there's some sort of liquor note in here, some sort of liqueur. This stuff would make a modern executive's head explode. Like, they would be like, what the fuck is this? Like, you can't release this. But that's what made Christopher Chong Amouage so cool for people like us. And so that's the struggle, I think. That's the struggle. And I don't think, honestly, I don't think it's going our way. I think it's going even more mainstream because the houses are realizing just how much money there is. Like, imagine if we're frag heads, right? And they got people like us to spend $300 on this, right? Imagine if they could just get 5% of the non-frag head population to spend $300 on that. Imagine the growth, the profit, the money, the cash money that they're going to be making, right? They're over there just counting their money, laughing all the way to the bank. If they can just put these in stores where the Novu rich are shopping, and they'll buy a Creed for $500 on a whim, or an Amouage for $400 or $500 on a whim. That's the target market that they're going for. We're too small. There's not as much growth, I think, in the real frag head population. They want to appeal to the masses a little bit more, and they do that by putting designer style fragrances in fancy bottles. Hence, stuff like Roja's. Roja's packaging is perfect for that. So that's the struggle, in my opinion. Mike V, good to see you, man. Dior Homme. Oh, I have a sample of that. That is a hell of a perfume, by the way. Perfect for the heat. I wish I had a bottle. I think I like that better than Dior's Sport Cologne, or whatever they call it. I think I like Dior Homme better than Dior Homme Sport. Yeah, I think I like Dior Homme better. That stays truer to, I think, what Dior Homme really is, or was supposed to be, in my opinion. 5K, just the beginning. That's right. That's right. You guys have been very generous and kind and supportive. Many of you have been very supportive. Giffy, good to see you, man. Hope China is treating you well, brother. Is it the new Parfum de Marly? Happy 5K. I picked up a bottle of Azar. Actor, yes. Actor is fantastic. One of the best rose. I think one of the best masculine rose fragrances of all time, in my opinion. Where is Actor? Yes, Actor. You know what's funny is you used to be able to buy these little 25 ml bottles for like $20. I don't know if you still can, but I think I literally paid like $1 a mil for this. And this is a true proper vintage. I will review this one of these days. Actor will be on the Vintage Hall of Fame list. Still waiting on, this is not a top 10 Mafia fragrance. I think a couple people have done that. I think Chris from Scentland did that already. But let me sleep on that one, Arbaz. Luis from Colombia. Thanks for being here, man. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. Bought a 250 ml splash bottle of Creed Virgin Island water for $3.50. That is a fragrance that you can just throw on like in the heat. It's like coconuts and, it smells like sunscreen. It's actually nice for the heat, but what year did you buy? What year is the problem? Because if it's a newer bottle of Virgin Island water, you're going to have to maybe splash that whole damn thing on to get a day's worth of performance out of it. This isn't a top 100 panty dropper videos. Top 100 panty dropper videos. Well, now that I am single, maybe I should do a top 100 panty droppers. Waiting for my reset to arrive. Yes, do let me know what it's like. I wish I could smell the new collection. Rainier Oud Rain. Never smelled it. Macron. Never smelled it. ALD collection is phenomenal. Everyone amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. That makes my day. Yes, there was a light animalistic. It felt like ambergris. Yeah, I mean, I think it's castoreum and ambergris, to be honest with you. Raymond Cheylan loved using ambergris. He really did. He loved using it. So there could be. There very well could be. Is Gucci Envy worth the discontinued prices? It's one I've always wanted, but the price is so high now. I saw a review from Rose where he said it's a good bargain bin fragrance. I really like it. Like it's got that rosewood mixed with ginger vibe. And I think I actually have a backup bottle of it. I think it's so good. It's one of my favorite designer fragrances. And then it dries down to a little bit of a leather. So, you know, for a designer, like the designers from the 1990s and before are much different from the way designers are treated today. But would I pay $400 for a bottle? I don't know, man. Maybe you can get a decant or something. Why don't I see the comments on his screen in the chat? Not sure about that one, Kevin. We need tech support on the case. Have you used vintage aftershaves? I got one called Avon Thai Winds. It's a whistle shaped bottle. Of course. I mean, safe. I mean, I don't think it would hurt you or anything. As long as it actually is what you expect it to be. As long as somebody didn't like fill it up with something else and sell it as Thai Winds. But if it's actually Thai Winds, yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with it. Yeah. I actually have a vintage Avon aftershave that Armando gave to me. And it is this. Sterling 6. And that's the bottle right here. That's what the bottle looks like. So, and you can see it's an aftershave. But I wear this like a cologne. Like I just decant it and spray the shit out of it. I mean, Avon was badass. Like, you know, you ever hear modern companies like, for example, Guerlain talk about how the bottle is the most expensive part of the fragrance, like the mold of the bottle. That's why they use the same bottle over and over again. It's like, for example, that's why Roja just uses this stock bottle and changes the name on the plate, because the money that went into the creation of the bottle and the cap and all that, the mold is the most expensive part of the bottle. And so back in the day when Shalimar had its own bottle, Mitsuko had its own bottle, L'Air Bleu had its own bottle, you know, on and on and on, right? Every Guerlain fragrance had its own bottle back in the day. That style, one of the reasons why they went to just having this like stock bottle for one collection and just changing the name and maybe the color is because they've already spent the money on the bottle. That's already created. The mold is created. Now they can just pump them out like, you know, units, like widgets. You know, the cost goes down the more you create, right? And so back in the day, Avon used to create a different bottle for every single one of these. And they were like, Avon had like 500, 600, 700 fragrances. So think about that. Every one had a weird little bottle. I think it's cool. I think it's very cool. And the thing about it is, of course, we care about the juice. Beautiful. I think these old Avons deserve to be talked about more, especially the vintage ones. So yes, I would have no problem personally using that, my friend. No problem. No problem at all. All right, Sterling 6. You're going to go back over here. My experience with Envy is that it's really good, but at the end of the day, it's still a designer. Yeah. DFW. Sun is shining and sent to the day's first wearing of Dessandra's. Yes, sir. I actually have La Douleur Exquise right here. I need a scent of the day for the Raider game tomorrow. What should I wear? I usually just wear Antaeus for Raiders. It's the perfect Raider scent. You know, it was Al Davis's signature scent, which is such a perfect signature scent for Al Davis. But yeah, usually I just wear Antaeus for Raider games. I would love to see a review of Pontacchio 21. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's on the list, man. It is 100% on the list. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can find it. Ah, yes. Yes, Pontaccio 21, brilliant. And you can see it almost has this like leather wrap looking feel. So it's got this man, the stinkiest cap of all time though. Like seriously. I when I bought this fragrance, I actually thought that the fragrance had turned because when I smelled it, all you can smell is the plastic in this cap. Like this is like made in like Chernobyl or something. That's what the cap. That's what the cheap Italian plastic smells like. But yeah, Pontaccio 21, brilliant patchouli, and definitely will get its own review. I'll tell you that. I think it is long discontinued, and I think the name, yeah, 1999, long discontinued. The name actually came from that was the headquarters of Gianfranco Ferre at the time. So lots of like spices, cardamom, rosemary, and there's a cypress note in there, the underused cypress with rose, sage, angelica, musk, myrrh, patchouli, and suede. Yes, so that's it. It's the myrrh, patchouli, and suede dry down that I think makes the fragrance special. So yes, I will review that 100%. What's a good niche whiskey fragrance? I don't think there's very many, to be honest with you. A niche whiskey fragrance. Let me sleep on that. Actually, you know what? Actually, no, I do have a niche whiskey fragrance for you. I do. Here it is. You guys know this one. This is Iron Duke by the House of Beaufort. And you better be prepared, all right? Get your big boy pants on for this one, Ryan. This one does not fuck around, mate. This is an absolute frag heads fragrance right here. It is an insane fragrance. So basically, it to me, the way that I've described it is it smells like you're in a World War II tank, all right, where the gun is firing, smoke's in the air. The guy behind you is like having a complete mental breakdown because he thinks he's going to die. And he's just downing whiskey, right? He's just getting blitzed. And you can smell the gunpowder. And yet the battle started like super early in the day where you can still smell like the cheap army given like soap that they just supply to the men, you know, the cheapest bottom of the barrel soap, let's say, and you washed your body with it and it made your skin really dry, but you have that generic soap smell. So it's like soap with tobacco. All right. So the guy behind you, who is now fucked up on his whiskey, decided he was going to pull out a smoke and have this tobacco going on behind you. So you've got tobacco, you've got smoke, you've got whiskey, bourbon whiskey, and you have this charred like smell. So like imagine the tank hit something, it exploded, and you can literally smell like burning trees and burning earth, right? This charred like smell. It's an insane fragrance. And in fact, I have a sample of Royal Tobacco by Amouage, and I've often said, if you go watch my video of Royal Tobacco, I said the reason I will not buy a bottle of Royal Tobacco is because I have this. This does the same job, does things a little bit different. It doesn't have as much of that like licorice note as Royal Tobacco, but it absolutely scratches the same itch to me. There's Cambodian oud in here as well. For $100, I think you can find this on Fragrance Buy for $100. Steal, in my opinion. And even though I made it sound crazy, it's wearable. To me, this is a wearable fragrance. So yeah, that's my recommendation there. Hey, what's happening, Jonathan? Good to see you, man. Paid around $200 after smelling it. I'd only pay that much again for collecting reasons. If you're into perfume for more utilitarian purposes, yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. 100, 150. Ah, thanks, man. Appreciate that. I'm glad you're here. Nuit de Fa. Nuit de Fa. I actually really, I have a, there's a Nuit de Fa thing up here somewhere. So I'll do a video on that one of these days, supply and demand. Yeah, I wouldn't pay 300 pounds. No, I wouldn't pay that, dude. I wouldn't pay that. Well, lucky for you, I have a full review on Diaghilev, my friend. That's what I've seen on eBay anyways here in the UK. That's nuts, dude. That's nuts. Don't pay that. Thanks, Steps. You asked for a live stream, brother. You said we need more Ram live streams. Here I am. I was watching your Amouage review last night. Thank you. Thanks, Paul. African leather, it's boozy to me. It's like a niche version of Mugler Pure Malt. I really didn't like African leather. I mean, I won't say I really didn't like it, but I definitely wouldn't buy it. The dynasty is promised. That's right. Ah, look who is in the house. Our good friend Russian Adam. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate that. It's good to see you. It's good to see you in the chat. Congratulations to you on your new release, successful release. Scott says they're awesome. Hope to smell them one day. Yeah, that's a good point, Scott. Now, they didn't used to. It only came in 100 mils for the longest time. I think maybe 6 or 8 months ago, they started releasing that 50 mil bottle. I think they're both amazing, and I'll do full reviews on them. Journeyman's one of the best Cypriol fragrances in my collection. I really, really think Journey is totally underrated. And Dia is also very underrated because many people think that it doesn't last or it's just a soft, it's a perfect office fragrance, actually. Let me pack some samples for you. Ah, yes, that would be awesome, man. Thank you. I still have to review the other Feel Oud fragrances that I have yet to review, do videos on. So we have Sunrise and Set, and we have Oud de Grande. Oud Balsam is the one I did the video on because I have a bottle. But Oud de Grande and Sunrise and Set, I have not reviewed yet. So I still have these to talk about, Adam. So someone told me that Oud de Grande will be my favorite. So we shall see. Is there a difference between calling a note and an accord? Yes. A note is like patchouli. A accord is like, let's say they use like Cypriol, Labdanum, and, you know, like Peru Balsam and something to create, let's say, an oud accord. So like it smells like oud, but there's no real oud in there. It's an accord, right? That's kind of the difference. Hey, Frank, good to see you, man. So well deserved. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And on a random Saturday night live stream. Very successful random Saturday night live stream. Russian Adam, I cannot tell you how much I am completely and totally emotionally moved. That's awesome comment, dude. True. Yeah, I've smelled a lot of those already, so I know how awesome they are, like Ottoman Empire, Russian oud, Chinese oud. Hey, this is Chinese oud right here. So I know how awesome that collection is, but I'm glad to hear they stayed true to what they are. So that's great. Makes me very happy. Well done, sir. Thank you, Frank. Still trying to wrap my head around Versace versus Uomo. Got it recently. It's awesome. My favorite Versace. I think it's my favorite Versace. Thank you, Steven. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Might be driving through Dallas tomorrow. Let's party. Bring it on, Dunk. Text me, bro. Text me. We'll shoot some pool. But I am going to have to catch the Raider game tomorrow. So outside of that, I am 100% free. no way I could rank any of these new. They are all, that's the thing. That's why doing the whole rank your favorite artisanal fragrances, that's why I haven't done a ranked Arise Ladore video yet. That's why I've not done a ranked Arise Ladore video, is how do I rank them? Like there are some houses where I have a pretty good idea. Like many times when I do the rankings, 1 and 2 are like set in my mind. Like 1 just goes to 1 and it's like, is anything going to top this? And then many times it's no, and I stick to my guns. But with Arise, I don't know how I could rank them. Like, and even some of the like, not decants, but I've got some, well, they are decants. They're but respectable sized decants, like Oud Zen. Like, where would you put Oud Zen in the whole? It's almost impossible. Are you familiar with Byblos? Yes. I actually don't think it's that bad. It's not great, but I don't think it's bad for a summer wear because it's a lot different than what they put out nowadays. But yeah, Byblos is not bad for summer. It's not my favorite, but it's not bad. Yeah. Yeah, for a summery scent, it's I'd rather wear this than like a blue fragrance, I'll tell you that. Been a while hoping things are getting better. They are. They are getting much better. I have the house to myself now, so they are getting much better. Thought you meant 5K video. I'm disappointed. It's only 720p. John, famous YouTuber. Congrats on 5K. Thank you, Sean. As if he did that. Have you tried Force Majeure? I have not. No, that is a discontinued one and hard to find. I have a magnetic name on the front, Beach Hut, and it's fucking amazing and lasts for days, basically until I wash clothes. Oh, wow. So my Beach Hut is on the side. So, yeah, I don't know how to really rank the or tell what the new ones are like outside of the name on the front, name on the side. Because the other guy was saying the new one isn't as good, but I don't know. I've never smelled the new one. Just new Amouage scares me. Just the whole thing just scares me in general. I think he shut down the UK one to cut down on costs. Had nothing to do with discounters since he actually has a deal with discounters. That makes more sense. High dollar Bushi. That's right. A vintage. I am a vintage boy, as you can tell from my taste in fragrances. But I also enjoy watching those old NFL games. Like, you want to see how bad we've been fucked over by modern sports? Go watch like a 1970s Raider game. Man, that was when football was football. That shit they throw now at us is bullshit. Yeah, nah, don't pay retail. Fanny pack for sale? Nah, I'm good on the fanny pack, bro. Sorry to break it to you guys. I don't know, man. I would not be surprised if it takes Sean Payton like half the year to really get Russell Wilson back. Russell Wilson looked like a broke man last year. Like, not broke in his pocketbook because he's rich as fuck after signing that contract, but like broke mentally. Like, I don't know, man. He doesn't seem right. That's right. Come to find you don't have to worry much about Amouage vintage versus new after experiencing both. That's good to hear. I have like 12 Amouages. The only ones I ever paid $200 for is Reflection 45. I've never smelled that one. Some of them are vintage for my Mist, for example, and still didn't pay $200. Yeah, exactly. Not a world of difference. I agree. The old one just lasts longer. I've never smelled 45, but I really like the original. What's up, Dunk? Ram plus duck equals goats. Neither new or old Juby performs. I disagree with that, Scott. We'll have to agree to disagree there, brother. Because I have this one right here, which is like a snap cap Juby. And this shit lasts like 15 hours. Seriously, 15 hours. It smells very similar to my magnetic cap, with no name on the side or on the front. So I don't know what circa that is, but it smells very similar to both of them smell similar, but the vintage one, this shit lasts forever, dude. Forever and a day. Now I just have gold and 3 others. I love gold. A while back, got my Jean Patou Pour Homme bottle. I don't want to sound exaggerated, but I don't want to smell it yet because of my lack of knowledge. Smell that shit, dude. Smell it right now. What happens if you, you know, what happens if you're not around in a couple years to smell it and then you just bought a perfume and you can't smell it? Smell that. These are, my way of thinking is that these are made to be worn. They're made to be worn and experienced. So yes, I would say smell as much as you can. Smell and smell and smell. Still haven't got my hands on gold, but if I see an older bottle for a reasonable price, I'll jump on it. I would love a vintage gold, but they're very hard to find. The new PDM is terrible. Not that I give a shit, but Myths Man is a gem. It really is. Have to check out the Papillon. Yes, you do. Yes, that is a. Go watch my review with Liz Moores and check out the brand. Start with Anubis and Salome, and then go to just every single one. Actually, every single one that she has in that collection is a full bottle worthy fragrance. Went deep, blind buy. Yes. I want one of the gold bottles like Russian Adam had that looks like an old school mosque, you know, like it's got a square bottle with like a dome on top. Beautiful bottle. Smell that shizzle and then smell it again another day. Yes, that's it. I would agree with that. I wear Myths to work. They know I'm a collector, so they probably go out of their way to comment on stuff, but I've had many people say how interesting Myths smells. You know what? I think Myths, somebody said this on Fragrantica, and I read it like 3 years ago, and it always stuck with me. They said Myths accentuates leather products. Like if you're wearing like a leather belt, leather shoes, and you know what? I could totally see that. Think about that when you smell Myths. And there is something about it that I could totally see that accentuating leather. Past 5 a.m. here in Germany, watching the Ram on the hunt for vintages, 1992 Guerlain Heritage and New York Intense. Awesome. I don't condone mixing, blending, whatever you want to call it, layering fragrance, but you could do worse than New York Intense and Guerlain's Heritage. I'll tell you that. I felt that before even approaching unicorns of that level, you have to have a very mature nose. I'll let it sit there a bit longer. Don't smell that shit, dude. Spray it on your hand. Spray it on your hand or on your wrist and just smell it. See how it breaks down over the hours. You could listen to us all day, but you're the only one that smells out of your nose. So who gives a shit what we have to say? I agree. Smell it. Dior Homme is a masterpiece. I don't know about masterpiece, but I think it's the best sport Dior Homme. For a freshie, the iris still pops. Even if you don't like it on first sniff, yeah. Emperor Dante. In Germany as well. I feel sort of comfortable with my Capucci Punjab. Vintages are like Russian literature. It's not enough just to read them. Punjab is pretty hard stuff, man. Punjab's hard stuff. It's a new bottle. Ugh. New Creed? Dude. Let me know how that turns out. Let me know how that turns out. If you get it and it's complete shit, send it back. Seriously, fuck them. Oud Satin Mood Extrait, #1 panty dropper. I've never smelled it, believe it or not. I've never smelled Oud Satin Mood or Oud Silk Mood. What do you think about the risks that Etat Libre d'Orange takes? At least they exhibit a great sense of humor. Yes, I actually really like that brand. I've got a handful that I really appreciate, let's say. So I have Je suis un homme, which is probably my favorite Etat Libre d'Orange, and discontinued, sadly discontinued. This is the vintage before they put the little Eldo thing on the cap. Fuck, man. And this is an Antoine Lee. So Je suis un homme basically means I am man. And I don't know if you can see, but the older Eldos were really raised. So the writing on them was like really raised. And, but this is, I've told you Antoine Lee is like, he's like a perfumer that I think leaves little breadcrumbs to his favorite fragrances from the past, right? So for me, this is, and there was a big trend in perfumery to sort of take a vintage fragrance and add like a liquor note and make it modern. So this has a lot of Bel Ami in it to me. This is like Antoine Lee paying homage to Bel Ami, but adding this very modern liqueur note. And the liqueur note that he used, this came out in 2006, by the way. The liqueur note that he used is cognac. So someone was asking about whiskey. Now we're on to cognac. But imagine cognac with this sort of vintage animalic Bel Ami. So think of things like Bel Ami, or Parfumo says Derby, but I get more Bel Ami. And then imagine that myrtle from Antaeus, or like something like that. There's this very vintage vibe to this perfume, and I love it. I love this. This is my favorite Eldo, hands down. But my second favorite Eldo is a toss-up, because it's either Rien, which is hilarious because Rien means nothing, and this is like the biggest fragrance of all time, or Rien Intense Incense. And I still don't know which one I like more, to be honest with you. Like, I love both of these. They're both so outrageous. I think Rien Intense Incense is just even more outrageous. So I think this takes the cake, because there's this castoreum crazy deep dry down in this that you don't get as much of in Rien. But I love them both. They are both so crazy. I love these. So Je suis Sauvignon is my favorite, and then one of these two will probably be number 2, and then number 3, and then the couple that round out. So probably after that, it would be something like Fat Electrician for me. Fat Electrician. This fragrance is a great vetiver. Someone was asking about vetivers recently. Fat Electrician. Fat Electrician is a fantastic vetiver. Apparently, it's like a nutty, like, so think of something like Vetiver Tonka. I've never smelled, but what I hear is it's very similar to Fat Electrician. So Fat Electrician, and then this is the Afternoon of a Fawn, which gets, I think, the Afternoon of a Fawn gets overlooked, even by me just now. I just put it at the very end. But this is an amazing Immortelle fragrance, Immortelle and Rose. And I really like the brand. I really like Eldo. I would love to smell more Eldos. I just, again, you can't smell everything, and I don't have the budget anymore since I lost half my shit to buy fragrances like I used to. Yeah, Dior Homme Silver Stem is Hall of Fame material, man. Yeah, I thought I was buying the 2012 version of Dior Homme Sport, and then I got tricked by the cap, because the cap has the CD spread apart, but the atomizer has it together. So the old school cap tricked me. But that's okay. That's okay. Hugs from Argentina. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you. I just have half a bottle. Cuddles sent it to me. Good morning. Greetings from Germany. Morning, Boogie Woogie. Thanks for being here. The Bulgari La Gem bottles are the best. They are pretty cool. I have Falcar, and I really like that one. I got that old Avon in a whiskey flask with a schooner boat. Thought it was Old Spice. No. I've never smelled Tigar. Never. I bought them years ago. Famous one I pulled the trigger on when they were still going for a decent price. DHS Duck got with the silver stem. Got a bunch of Avon. They were doing great things. I agree. They have one, I think it's called Black Suede or something. I really want to smell that. So happy football's back. Yes. You know what that means? It means the weather's finally going to turn. Oh, God, I hate Texas summers, dude. It's like 5 months of hell. It's like purgatory. Like, I think I saw something that said we've had like 95 days of over 100 degrees this year. Just unbelievable. What do you mean, Dunk? 2 winners right there. The old decorated Avon bottles. Appreciate the Avon history. Quite a few of their releases had regular bottles and a special release bottle. I was under the impression also, maybe more than 2, but they had a small number of fragrances, but released many different collector bottles. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, but the early car, trains, and truck stuff, early pre-90s are all same stuff. Iron Duke is a monster. Yes, it is. Not the line outside of the decor bottles. I get more rum from that Iron Duke one. The gunpowder is fabulous. I picture myself drunkenly riding a horse shooting pistols. Yeah, there's definitely some war involved, whether you're in the tank, like I said, or on a horse drunkenly shooting pistols. But there's definitely some war going on in Iron Duke. My dad picked up a bunch of Avon bottles for me at a flea market. Nice. Supposedly Avon answers to high karate. Yes, that's what I heard. I was supposed to discover how many flankers high karate. Dad loves it. They were in brilliant condition. Good luck, man. High Karate had some funny commercials. Absolutely. Just dudes fighting bitches off. Wah, wah. The best commercials back in the day. Could you imagine some heads exploding nowadays if they put out a commercial like that of a guy fighting women off because of his fragrance? Like you would have like a complete meltdown on probably the news would pick it up and they'd have a complete meltdown of just how sexist they are to run such a commercial. Soap on a rope? Hell yes, and the bottles are heavy ceramic. Just got in a bottle of Jacko by Lagerfeld. Never smelled it. Saw your 75, 78 video, and I'm from 77. Was a good one. Good choice. Thanks for watching. Yeah, that was an old one. Watching my old videos. Jacko, not my style. Reminds me of those expensive green frags from the 90s. Envy and Good Life. I have a decant of Good Life. I'll do a review one of these days. No, I did. I did way back when, I think. Yeah, I did when I was in the old setup in the other room in the house. 78 and 81. Those 2 years, man. 78 and 81 are like, for me, it's 81, obviously, but 78 with stuff like this, Dunhill Blend 30, and don't forget Lagerfeld Cologne. 78 had some hitters, man. 78 had some hitters. Are you going to get on Tinder? No, I don't think I'm going to do that, man. No. Was my first frag wearing Biblos, soapy and herbal, almost like poor Louis without the musks. I'm digging it. I think it's a good summer. Yeah. It's a good summer scent. You get the green notes, right? The herbal side of things. Little bit of citruses, but it's not like a citrus heavy fragrance. It's a hell of an intro. 73 today. The sexual smell of Castoreum and Portitos. Good to see you, Castoreum Al. Good to see you, brother. I did a Raymond Chailan video. I don't know if you saw that, sir, but if you did, do leave your thoughts on it. It's brilliant. Yes, it is. Brilliant indeed. In the 80s, the Castoreum note in Portitos was a fun pheromonal scent that mimicked arousal from launch to finish. Al. Al just coming in like a wrecking ball. That's right. like rubbing your hands in your crotch area and then sniffing your hands. Like, what was the movie from the girl that went? What was that movie? God, I'm getting too old to even remember shit anymore. I have a newer Juby, and there's no way I'm smelling the same thing people say is one of the best. I like it, but it doesn't even legitimately last a work day. Yeah, I think it's been played with. Yes, I've got the big boy as well, Jonathan. I've got the 200 ml bottle myself, my friend. It made my #1 Raymond Cheylan video thanks to inside information from a friend. I smelled the new Absolute Aventus at Duty Free, and it's a lot like Roja's Apex Dior Sauvage Elixir. Of course it is. Out of all of them, I wish I waited out at least a name on the side of the bottle for Juby. Other newer bottles have really impressed me, although my memoir performs poorly. That's sad to hear. Good. Glad to hear that, Morlaco. Glad to hear that. It's in the base, civet, musk, castoreum, musky, sweaty, fleshy, fetid, fecal, a hint of sultry decay. Sultry decay. I'm using that line at the bar next time. Hey, baby, you want some sultry decay? Oh, man. Al, you kill me, bro. I love Escada Porom. Love Fat Electrician. Yes, me too. Need to sort out a bottle. Have you tried Eldo's Exit the King? No, I have not. Ram is 40 minutes behind on the chat. I got the aftershaves. All right, I got about 10 minutes, and then I got to go smoke this cigar with a friend. Couldn't cope with the Texas heat. I love the cold. Cannot stand the heat, man. It's brutal, dude. Honestly, like, I really, 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 really hate summer in Texas. Like, hate it. Hate it. Like, it's so hot, you can hardly go get the mail. It's so hot. It was 109 yesterday. 109. Like, I left some sodas in the garage, and they literally, one of them fucking exploded. It was so hot. And the garage is insulated. It exploded. Like, there's soda just all over the inside of like this box where the sodas were. All the sodas got just, and then of course it's so hot it like cooks the sugary soda onto the side of the can. So it's just, it's terrible, man. Terrible. If you ever see Devervirus, Duncan, let me know. I never even heard of that one. Super fragrance, I did a Vintage Hall of Fame review on, ladies and gentlemen. That's hard. That's a hard one to find. Just the 15, 30, or 30 mils that I found, it was a miracle. Ah, yes. Happy birthday, Castoreum Al. Let me know if you want some unspoiled 81 Antaeus. You're just handing out Antaeus, Dunk? Superstar. That's it. That's it. Portitos is like, instead of rubbing the inside of your armpits, though, you rub it on your groin and then do the Superstar. That's Portitos right there. Did you ever compare super fragrance and chaps? I don't see the comparison there, Dunk. Chaps. Chaps is really powdery on me. Maybe a little bit. I'll have to try that, man. I enjoy the sweat. Scent of the day, Pierre Balmain, Ebony. That is a fantastic fragrance. Basic. You're wearing Ebony, but you won't smell Jean Patou Porom. Smell that shit. Smell it right now and tell me what you think. Smell it. I've got 10 minutes. Spray that shit on and tell me what you think. It's brutal, man. The heat in Texas is absolutely brutal. And it is unrelenting. Like, it rained yesterday for the first time in like 6 weeks here. Seriously, 6 weeks. Like, my grass is like, and I'm running the sprinklers 3 or 4 times a week, and it's just like everything is just dying because it's just so hot. And what's crazy is it rained. There was some thunderstorms that rolled through, and today wake up in the morning and it looks like it didn't even rain. Like, and it rained for a good while, hours, and you wake up in the morning and the ground is just so dry. It just soaked it all up. I watched the review of yours and I'm intimidated. I didn't review Jean Petit Pour Homme. I reviewed Jean Petit Pour Homme Privé, if I remember correctly. I still have to review Jean Petit Pour Homme. I think. I don't think I reviewed the OG, man. Hell yeah. Epic Man is fantastic. I did review Epic Man. That is an awesome, awesome fragrance. I can't believe, you know what's crazy? And you know why I really think Christopher Chong is the greatest, for me, the greatest creative director of all time, is he took Rhonda Hamami, who granted, she did some other things, but almost nothing noteworthy. He took a perfumer like Rhonda Hamami and pulled Epic Man out of her. Like, just pulled it out of her. And I think she was a Syrian perfumer, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, incense and stuff, that's her roots. That's really her strong point. And there were other, she did stuff for Guerlain and some other things, but they were like floral fragrances. And dude, what he did with Amouage and even some of the perfumers, like you have to remember when Karine Vincent-Spenner did Memoir Man, she was an unknown. She was almost a nobody. No offense to Karine, I love her work. She did stuff like Overture Man and Myths Man. She did. I love Karine Vincent-Spenner's work, but when she did Memoir Man, she was almost a nobody at the time. She was a young up and coming perfumer, and he took her and had her do Memoir Man. He took Rhonda Hamami, who had almost no hits. Nothing she did is memorable, and had her do Epic. I think Christopher Chong is the greatest creative director ever. Ever. If I roll through, you gonna let me smell that Bali? Hell yeah, dude. We'll do a live stream, me and you right here. We'll pull up a chair. The wife actually took all of the chairs, believe it or not, to my kitchen table and my bar stool chairs, but I just replenished them today. I just got some new chairs. So we'll pull up a chair, right? You can sit right here. I'll make you a 10 ml decant of Bali. I'll make you a little gift, all right? I'll make you a 10 ml decant of Bali, and we'll smell some fragrances together. That'll be a badass live stream, Dunk. Know any info on Val de Nuit cologne concentration? I saw one for sale, very cheap. Cologne concentration. Well, they did cologne. I do have a Shalimar. I have a Mitsuko cologne, eau de cologne, in the clock face bottle. Is it the clock face bottle with the circular thing? Those are awesome. I mean, they just don't last as long because they're colognes, but they're vintage. They're discontinued. Those are probably like from the 70s. So the ingredients are all very high quality. I have so many, dude. I have so many sample sets to go through. You have no idea. I have, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Mar perfumes. I have a bunch of Frederic Malls that I've never smelled. I could do a sampling live stream on those. I have this new house, which I think really deserves more attention and love. It's called, they come like this, and it's basically called Pine Ward. And he's a young kid, actually. I really, really like his work. I think they're awesome. These Pine Ward fragrances, I could easily do a live stream, you know, because I've done a video on one, but I've got like 15 fragrances in here or something. So Pine Ward, I could do a live stream on. One of my perfume god people sent me the new Oud sample set from Mask Milano, where they just took the regular frags like Russian tea and just made it Russian tea Oud. Sounds lazy as fuck to me, but I could do one on those. I have so many sample sets I could do for videos on. So many. That's not even counting the matriarch House of Matriarch. I've got a ton of samples there. So, excuse me. Yeah, I would take Super Fragrance over Boss Elements any day of the week, but Super Fragrance is much more my speed. But I think Boss Elements is where Boss sort of started to lose the plot. But if you got Super Fragrance for next to nothing, congrats, because it's going for big money here in the States. But you're in Germany where they made Super Fragrance. Eigner was a German house. Yes. No, I know for sure Grapes was out there in dating porn stars. So no, I know for sure he was 100%, 100%. And now he's in Vegas. Oh my God. The guy probably doesn't even have time to sleep. He's probably like, I hope he's getting some sleep the night before the game. Not like Kenny Stabler, who'd be out at the bar until 3 a.m. and then go play the very next day. Ridiculously priced. Yes, I agree. Man, Bracken's one of the greatest modern fougères ever, but Interlude's on another level. I don't know very much about the house, honestly. The only thing I would tell you about Caron, if you can get L'Anarchiste, I would add that to the collection because it's recently discontinued. Don't worry about formulation. Just get whatever version you can find at a good price. I would get Yatagan. Yatagan and L'Anarchiste. Those are the only two I would tell you to add. You already have Pour Un Homme, and Le Troisième Homme. That's it. Epic's fantastic. Yeah, man. Myths is for people like us, Jonathan. It really is. It really is. Yeah, man. Text me. I'll shoot you my address. If I was wearing Miss one day and you or someone asked, I'd probably say Miss. I'll bring you some arrogance. All right. Bring it on. So many killers from the house. Have you smelled any fragrances from Le Galon? Is I don't think so. Although I may have a sample floating around. That sounds familiar, but no, I can't really think of it right now. John told me Pine Ward is hit and miss. I'd still like to try them. Yeah, for sure. Portrayal Man and Woman. Portrayal Man is fucking amazing, dude. Portrayal Man, if you like Fahrenheit and you like that gasoline opening, Portrayal Man, like I bought this first when it came out, so I got the one with the name on the side, but fuck, man, this is such an underrated amouage. And what's funny is when I first got this, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is not an amouage. This is like an 80s fragrance. Because it has that gasoline sort of opening, but it dries down to this like patchouli cade oil like thing, and vetiver. But the opening, I mean, the opening is mind blowing. If you like Fahrenheit, this is like a niche Fahrenheit. It is fantastic. Look at the dent. I don't know if you can see because of the shitty camera, but I'm like to here on this bottle. I love wearing this. I used to wear this to work all the time. It's a great sort of masculine office scent. Noir Peace, excellent. Stay with the vintage on Noir Peace. Dude, Portrayal and Figment will blow your mind. Figment, you will not like the first time you spray it, I promise you, but do not give up on it. In fact, I think I have come to the conclusion, I think Figment is Anique Minardo's masterpiece. Yep, I honestly do. I think it's her greatest creation. And again, Christopher Chong pulled it out of her, man, because this is not her style. When you smell Figment, you're gonna go, what the fuck? It smells like an earthworm. It smells like an earthworm doused themselves in Koros. Like that's what it smells like. It smells like an earthworm got a hold of your bottle of Koros and just fucking sprayed it all over its body and then dove back under the earth. And you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? And I promise you, if you find this for like $100 because everyone thinks it's crazy and shit, get it. Get it. And I think they're talking about discontinuing it. But if you can find the one with the name on the side, that's the one I can vouch for. Figment is Annick Minardo's masterpiece. It's earthy, it's dirty. It's like Amouage does Koros kind of thing because of the civet, but it's super earthy, like dirty, like not like dirty, not like dirty like you haven't taken a shower, like dirty, like dirt, like you put your hands in the dirt, like you were gardening and your hands were in the soil kind of thing. And then you get the flowers and all that stuff. But it is for fragrance lovers, this is the kind of stuff that should really get you excited because it's so different from what you're used to smelling. You know what I mean? Worth a try for sure. Yeah, I like weird stuff. I do. I like weird stuff. There's no, as a fragrance head, you have to like, what happens usually throughout your journey is you don't want to smell the designer stuff anymore. You want to smell something different. That's the whole reason you buy niche. Yatagan smells like where a bear sleeps. That's actually a pretty damn good description, Dunk. I said it smells like leaves that haven't been disturbed, and then you come along and kick them up, get that sort of weird, moldy, mildewy, earthy smell. But yeah, I love Yatagan. Yes, Portrayal has that Fahrenheit. Yep. So much more indeed. I'm digging that Oud Wood Intense, man. I've never smelled that one, believe it or not. Never smelled it. Yeah. I went back to mom and pop shop for the 2 Fahrenheit Absolutes and they were gone. I think some asshat was watching Eugene's stream. Oh, fuck. Oh, I do like Fahrenheit Absolute. That is a good designer. That is a good, really good designer. Dude, seriously. Like, and you know what sucks is I did my very first perfumer portfolio ranking video. It was Annick Minardo. Okay. And the very next day after I did that video, my Figment man arrived. And I was like, fuck, why? Why didn't I just wait? Because it would have been number one, hands down, would have been number one. I really want a bottle of Man Pure. That's the one from 81. That is my favorite Jill Sander fragrance. I can't find a bottle. Can't find it. Cannot find it in the United States, man. Yeah, I love Romeo Jiggly Per Uomo as well, 100%. I love Romeo Jiggly Per Uomo. But Jill Sander Man Pure from 81, I want a bottle of that. That is very close to the top of my wish list. If you cannot find Jill Sander, I have a video on it because actually Duncan sent me a couple mils of Jill Sander Man Pure. If you cannot find it though, okay, if you're someone who just can't find a bottle and you're like basically giving up like me, but you kind of want to smell something that's in the ballpark of Jill Sander Man Pure, get this. Biel Parfum Kunstwerke. Biel Parfum Kunstwerke AL03. AL03. All right. This is basically, oh shit, the fucking atomizer came off. What a dick. Fuck you. Fuck you, Cap. Bullshit. Bullshit, Cap. It's like the top is like broken on this one. But yes, this is basically like a niche version of that. So this Biel house, it's spelled B-I-E-H-L. I think it's a German house as well. So this Biel house, www.biehl-parfum.com. This Biel house sort of had the same idea as Frederick Malle, and that he was going to let perfumers come and sort of like do their thing. And so AL03 I think it's AL03. It's created in 2011 by Arturetto Landi. And the note listing is crazy. Spicy, leathery, castoreum in the base. Very, to me, very Jill Sander, like early 80s like vibe. Beautiful though. Beautiful, beautiful like. So that is my little tip there. All right, it's past 11. I said I'd be gone at 11. Oh, welcome, Sarah. Good to have you here. I like the fragrances where they're like, what the fuck is that smell? Yes, that's right. Me too. Fahrenheit Absolute. I have 2 of them. Very nice for the winter. So good with myrrh in there. Yes, it is. Really good. Really good indeed. I got 2 Man Pure, 1 still sealed. Duncan. Bro. Sorry, I can't make you an offer. I would totally make you an offer on one of those. It's brilliant indeed. BL Parfum Kunswerke. That's it. Romeo Jiggly has amazing bottles. Yes, they do. Damn, Dunk. I know, right? Me and Jonathan are thinking the same thing. Like, what the fuck, Duncan? You have a backup sealed? You actually located 2 bottles of Fahrenheit Absolute and didn't get them? I would have been. Oh, now you're just rubbing it in. Just sticking the knife in. Beal has some great stuff. I have AL02. I smelled the other's great fragrance. Yep. Ropion nailed it with Promise. That's one of the reasons I refuse. Yeah, I really, really like Promise. I really like Promise. I also really like that whole line. The whole Desert Gem line is good, but they're just so overpriced, especially now with where ouds are at. Like, giving Frederick Mall $1,200 for the night or whatever. That's just crazy. Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, brother. Yep, I gotta hop. I gotta go smoke this cigar with a friend. That shirt is great. You need a late 70s Adidas suit. Yes. Actually, we're going with Puma today. So nope, no Adidas, but I appreciate the rec. About to catch some sleep. Good stream. Thanks for being here, Headless Sense. Have a good night. Cheers. Thanks, Stephs. Thanks for being here. Gonna hop. Have a good night, everyone. Maybe another live stream tomorrow with Duncan. We'll see if I can hold him to it. Cheers. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.